What if I told you there's a communication network that doesn't rely on cell towers, doesn't need the internet, and is already being used by people to coordinate in the real world? And recently, there have been reports of groups using it during civil unrest. This is Meshtastic or Mesh Core, and depending on how it's used, it's either incredibly useful or something you need to understand fast. Meshtastic is an open source communication system that uses low power radios. Typically, they're called LoRa. It's a capital L, little o, capital R, little a, to send encrypted messages and locations across a decentralized mesh network. A new type of protocol called Mesh Core is similar. This may be a competition where the two formats duke it out, and one winner emerges like VHS and Betamax. I know I'm showing my age. Look it up if you don't know what I mean. There's no infrastructure, no carrier, and no centralized control. Each device, called a node, relays text messages for the other nodes. So instead of looking like phone, going to a tower, going to a network, going out to a phone, you start out with the device, which connects to another device, which connects to another device, which then gets to the destination device. The more nodes you have, the stronger the network. So these radios operate on frequencies around 915 megahertz in the United States. There are different frequencies if you're operating overseas. My wife and I brought a set of these on an African safari and had to operate on 800 megahertz range. They're low bandwidth but long range. So we're talking several miles in urban environments, dozens of miles in line of sight, and even more with elevation or repeaters. And because each node acts as a relay, messages can hop across an entire area without anyone needing cell service. This started in the hobbyist world, where nerds like me like to tinker. It's open source, so the network is growing. You can create a private channel that is encrypted, share it with your group, and with the proper settings, these encrypted messages will be sent out over the public mesh network, not just within your group, but only your group will receive the message. You can also have your channel connect to an internet-connected node and communicate globally with your team, given the right setup. This isn't very expensive either. It's $50 to $150 per node, less if you're a DIY type like me. You can get these completely ready to go. All you need are two nodes and they'll start communicating with each other, but the more the merrier. So let's bring this into reality. For hunters and rural operations, if you're deep in the woods with no signal, you can coordinate your positions. You can send updates, and you can stay connected without GPS trackers or satellite phones. For investigators, surveillance teams, or protection teams, in rural covert environments, silent communication between team members, no reliance on cellular metadata, and reduced digital footprint, and works virtually anywhere. In an emergency or disaster scenario, when infrastructure fails, like hurricanes, wildfires, or civil disruptions, the network just still works. There have been recent reports of individuals using Meshtastic during riots and civil unrest to coordinate movement without relying on cellular networks. Now, this isn't unique to Meshtastic. Any decentralized communication system can be used this way. But it highlights something important. If you can use it, so can everyone else. And most people, including a lot of professionals, aren't even aware this exists. There are also devices like the T1000 tracker built specifically for Meshtastic networks. These allow GPS location sharing, movement tracking, real-time positions across the mesh, and it's no bigger than a stack of maybe 3 credit cards. This isn't just handheld radios anymore. Companies like Spec5 are building drone-mounted nodes, mobile relay systems, rapid deployment kits. You can literally put a node in the air and extend your network across an entire area. Please note, I paid for all of these devices out of my own pocket and currently have no affiliation with them, but I do like their stuff. Now let's talk about something you won't hear in most videos. These are not plug-and-play devices. Every single radio has to be flashed with firmware, configured correctly, synced to the right channel, set with encryption keys, and here's what gets frustrating. Firmware updates are constant. Meshtastic is evolving quickly, which is great, but that means frequent firmware updates, compatibility issues between devices, and features changing or breaking. The process isn't standardized. Depending on the device, you might be using a web flasher, a command line tool, a mobile app, or manual file uploads. If you get it wrong, the device just doesn't work. You can have 5 radios sitting on a table, all Meshtastic compatible, in air quotes, and none of them talking to each other because firmware versions don't match, settings are off, and channels aren't aligned, various other issues. That's a real issue in operational environments. Let me show you how this actually works. You can get a device that is completely self-contained with its own screen and keyboard, or just download the Meshtastic or Meshcore app to your phone or Android device and connect to the Meshtastic or Meshcore device through your app and send and receive messages through the Bluetooth connection between your phone and the node. You'll see pretty quickly this isn't complicated conceptually, but it takes some work to get it right. Okay, so now we have our radio set up. So what we're going to do is we are going to send a message on one of these. And we'll just send test. And we'll send it. And it comes up on this device right here. If you're using this professionally, you need to think about who else is on your channel. Are your messages actually secure? What happens if a node is compromised? Are you creating patterns of movement? Because while this avoids traditional tracking, it introduces new risks. In a future video, I'm going to break down how this integrates with ATAC, which makes this from simple messaging to full situational awareness and mapping. And that's where things get really interesting. Meshtastic isn't just a hobbyist tool anymore. It's a communication system, a tracking system, a coordination tool. And like any tool, it depends on who's using it and how. If you're in security, investigations, or protection, you should at least understand it because others already are. If you like this content, please like and subscribe to my channel, Applied Tradecraft and Technology.